First off, I want to say that I am a big fan of intermittent fasting. I mean, I even created a video, but I never really tried out the OMAD or 1 meal a day fasting approach, so I decided to give it a try for 10 days straight. Today I will be sharing a little bit about OMAD fasting. I'll take you through my 10-day experiment, and make sure to stick around to the end, friends, where I share 4 lessons I wish I would have known when starting out. Welcome to my dadbod transformation channel, where I share my experiences trying out different diets and workout challenges. To see more videos like this one, please subscribe, and I will do my best to not disappoint you with future videos to come. Oh, and if you do not know, my current goal is to obtain a visible six-pack by the age of 30. My birthday is coming up next year in February, so it's time to get flippin' serious and to lock in. Now back to the OMAD fasting method. What is it exactly? As mentioned at the beginning of this video, what it stands for is 1 meal a day, with no limit to calories or what you can eat in that particular meal. For best results, however, I highly recommend sticking to healthy, whole, and nutritious foods. Typically, with these different types of fasting approaches, it's okay to have 0-calorie beverages such as black coffee, 0-calorie soda, water, etc. You're welcome to check out other videos on this channel where I share more about intermittent fasting, specifically how it works for fat loss with other fasting schedules available. Now I want to share with you, friends, OMAD guidelines that I set for myself at the beginning of this experiment. First is strive for a medium to lower carb diet and also low sugar. Focus on good or unrefined carbs and whole foods. Next is lots of hydration and protein. Have 0-calorie drinks between meals. And this is a very important one. Be flexible. So in the past, intermittent fasting has really accelerated my fat loss. But I wasn't always perfect at it, and I implemented some level of flexibility or customization to fit my needs. For example, I would allow myself to have some fruit at night before bed if I was super hungry or had a big craving. Now I can hear it already that some people may think that is crazy or absurd to eat during my fast period, but honestly, the results were still amazing for me. I am a lot more happier and less stressed when I don't think in extreme terms. Now let's dive into my results and experiences of doing the OMAD for 10 days. My beginning weight was 88.6 kg or 195.3 pounds. My ending weight, however, was 86.35 kg, which is 190.3 pounds. So a drop of 5 pounds in 10 days time really isn't all that bad. Let's talk about day 1. Actually, day 1 I felt pretty fantastic in regard to my mood and energy levels, probably because I had some leftover carbs from previous days in my system. For my 1 meal this day, I went to this amazing barbecue all-you-can-eat buffet. There was amazing variety of meats, vegetables, fruits, and things that you could eat there. After cooking up the delicious meat, I would put it in the tasty sauce and then into the lettuce wrap to help me stick to a low-carb diet. I also had a couple, meaning just 2 of these pizza slices, which helped me feel satisfied but also wasn't too high in carbs. Now on to day 2. For my meal on this day, it was kind of split up because I had a basketball game and I wanted to have healthy carbs before the game, so I started with some oatmeal. And I've got to say that the toppings, especially those almonds on top, really helped me to have more sustainable energy throughout the basketball game. And after the basketball game, I had a low-carb, high-protein meal of just barbecued meats. Overall, day 2 was not a bad day, and my hunger levels were quite manageable. Now on to day number 3. For my meal, I had a big Korean dinner with more carbs than I was hoping for. There were a lot of delicious side dishes, soups, and even Korean fried chicken. I was going all out on this meal. By the end of day 3, I was feeling okay. But everything started to change on day 4. My hunger levels were fine in the morning, but in the early afternoon, the hunger really started to kick in. And as many of you know, when the hunger increases, it's harder to have patience and takes more effort to be positive about basically everything. My meal for the day was this tasty sour fish soup, also this yummy side of beef. By the end of that meal, I just feel like I didn't get enough food to feel satisfied, and unfortunately that feeling continued into future days. Let's talk now about day 5. Yeah, the hunger started in the morning instead of the early afternoon. I had some caffeine to keep me going in the morning, but honestly, I wasn't loving life too much. I ended up having my meal during lunchtime instead of in the afternoon or evening time, but again, I wasn't very satisfied after the meal, and I had these big cravings afterwards for sweets or unhealthy foods, which I normally have that under control and don't feel that way after meals. Full disclosure, this was extremely difficult for me because it brought up past memories of how I used to struggle very very hard with sugar cravings and even addiction to sugar. So it was really tough in that moment needing to battle that again. And in the evening, I had a big gym session where I worked out my back and also did some swimming. And day number 6, I went from day 4 to being hungry in the afternoon, to day 5 being hungry in the morning, to day 6 being extremely hungry in the morning. My meal for the day was dumplings, but for this meal, I definitely did not incorporate enough calories to keep me full and satisfied. So by the end of the day, I was very hungry again and had some wheat slices of bread. Now on to day 7. My meal was some cabbage with a beef and tomato dish, and I had a basketball game in the evening. My energy levels were not very good and I was feeling pretty fatigued. Let's talk about day 8. I had another Korean barbecue meal similar to day 3, and I went all out calorie-wise. Yes, there were some healthy items there, but also some deep fried dumplings and Korean fried chicken. After getting in that many calories and carbs for the day, I actually had a little bit of a stomach ache and I still had cravings for something unhealthy. And day number 9, I had noodles and also soy milk with fried breadsticks and a milk tea. The good thing here is I opted out for low sugar milk tea and also low sugar in the soy milk. Personally, I've got to say that opting out for the lower sugar options for these types of items is much more sustainable than cutting them out altogether. And yes, I had some fried breadsticks, so I didn't eat very healthy both that day and the day previous. I was worried about my weight, but it was actually still going down. And the last day, day 10, I forgot to get a picture of this meal, but I had tomato soup with egg and rice noodles. I've got to say that the journey was quite rough with implementing exercise and trying to get my body to have enough energy, and I was very happy by the end of day 10 to be done with this challenge. Now I want to share with you 4 lessons that I wish I would have known before starting this challenge, and hopefully you can have these as 4 takeaways or tips to help you if you want to do the same challenge or a similar challenge. Okay, tip number 1 is to make sure you get enough calories into your one meal. Looking back now, I believe that this is probably my biggest mistake. Sometimes I did get enough calories in, but oftentimes I did not. If I could get more consistent with that, I feel like my challenge would go a lot more smoothly. My hunger levels just kept getting worse and worse because I didn't do too well here. And I had some vigorous workouts as well. Now tip number 2, focus on foods that provide lasting energy. Now how can we do this? I highly recommend focusing on good carbs. Those carbs that are unrefined, that are close to or in its natural state. It is so important that we fill our bodies with foods that are high in fiber, minerals, vitamins, and other nutrients. This in turn will help us have more sustainable energy over the long run. A couple of other really important things to fill up on are protein and water as well. So I was hungry a lot because my energy didn't last from the foods I was eating. Tip number 3 is to use caffeine and zero sugar drinks as a tool. The key here is to have it in moderation. I try not to have caffeine right after waking up. I try to wait an hour or 2, but I found that some black coffee or zero sugar caffeinated drinks really do help me combat hunger. I should say hunger and cravings. And number 4 is just to become more in tune with your body and understand what it's telling you. So on many of the days after my meals, I would have these big cravings, right? I should listen to my body, fill up more on those good carbs, and hydrate more. There are also a couple of workouts throughout these 10 days where I pushed my body very hard, so I was fatigued and it was harder for me to recover. So friends, please listen to what your body is telling you and act accordingly. Alright, so those are my experiences with trying out the OMAD fasting approach for 10 days. Remember that everyone is different. Somebody could try this 10-day challenge and have a lot more success and happiness with it. I hope that you can learn from my mistakes, and I hope that we can all find sustainable ways to create a healthy lifestyle. Alright, that's a wrap for today. Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. As always, I'd love if you'd leave a like and subscribe for more. See you next time.